Welcome to the Science of Fiction HFY Galaxy Tales. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new story from HFY Galaxy Tales. Where humanity always finds a way. The abandoned crate, the cargo ship, drifted far above Earth, old and rusted, its name barely visible on the side. It belonged to the Varnari Empire, known across the stars for throwing away anything they no longer found useful. Inside the ship, crates were pushed out one by one, marked with symbols of danger, waste, and biohazard. The crew didn't care. They pressed a few buttons, opened the rear hatch, and dumped it all into orbit. One of the crates was smaller than the rest, dark gray and dented. It tumbled through space like forgotten trash, spinning faster as it entered Earth's pull. No alarm was raised, no warning was sent. The crate burned through the atmosphere and crashed into a quiet field just beyond Outpost 17. Ellie was the first to see it. She was a junior medic, assigned to supply check duty that day. Her scanner beeped strangely, showing an impact less than a kilometer away. Probably scrap, she muttered. But curiosity pulled her forward. When she found the crater, smoke still curled into the air. The crate was half buried in dirt, its side scratched and marked with strange alien writing. She called it in, but no one responded. The comms were weak that far out, so she knelt beside the box, her glove brushing over the seal. Then she heard it, a soft whimper, faint but real. Coming from inside, her heart jumped. Something's alive in there, she whispered. Ellie pulled her toolkit from her belt and started cutting through the lock. It took a few minutes, and the heat made her hands sweat. Finally, the hatch clicked open and swung aside. Inside, curled into a tight ball, was a small alien creature. It had soft, dark blue skin, long ears folded down, and big glassy eyes that blinked slowly at her. Its body shook as it tried to move, but it was too weak. There were burns across its back, and its front paw was badly swollen. Ellie gasped. "You're just a baby." The creature looked up at her. Eyes full of fear, it let out a sound, not a cry, but a chirp, high and shaky. Ellie reached out slowly. "It's okay, I've got you." She lifted it gently, wrapping it in her coat. It was warm but barely breathing. Back at Outpost 17. Alarms went off the moment she stepped into the gate. Unauthorized bioform detected, the system announced. Guards rushed forward. Weapons raised. "Stop right there, Ellie," her supervisor shouted. "What are you carrying?" Ellie stood firm, holding the small creature tighter. "I found it in a crate near the field. It's hurt, it needs help." "That's Varnari waste. It could be diseased. Could be dangerous," the officer replied. "I don't care," Ellie said. "It's alive, and it's scared, and I'm not leaving it to die." They argued for minutes, but finally, her supervisor gave in. "Fine, but it stays in medbay, quarantine. And if anything happens, it's on you." Ellie nodded, already running toward the medical wing. She placed the creature on a soft bed and began scanning it. It had strange internal organs, glowing threads under the skin, and a pulse that changed rhythm every few seconds. She injected it with basic stabilizers, cleaned the wounds, and wrapped its leg carefully. The creature chirped again, this time softer. Ellie smiled. "You're going to be okay." She watched it blink at her, then slowly close its eyes and fall asleep. Later that night, she stayed in the medroom. Refusing to leave, she named the creature Miku, a word from an old Earth language meaning small hope. No one else came to visit. No one else cared. To them, Miku was trash, just another mistake dumped by an alien race. But Ellie saw something different. She saw a living being, left behind and forgotten. And she had made a quiet promise. As long as Miku breathed, he wouldn't be alone again. More than just a pet asterisk. Miku woke the next morning with a soft chirp. His large eyes blinked slowly, adjusting to the lights in the medroom. Ellie was already there, sitting beside him with a cup of tea in her hands. She smiled as he moved, stretching weak limbs and looking around. "You made it through the night," she whispered. "Good job, little guy." Over the next few days, Miku healed quickly, faster than any human animal or creature Ellie had ever seen. His burns faded into smooth skin, and the swollen paw began to move without pain. He started sitting up, watching Ellie with his head tilted whenever she entered. He didn't speak, but he understood. When Ellie brought food, he reached for it with both hands. Careful and gentle, when she said his name Miku, his ears twitched, and he chirped softly in reply. She tried to teach him hand signs, and by the end of the week, he could nod, wave, and even point to what he wanted. News spread quickly across the outpost. Scientists came to see him, curious and excited. One of them said, "His neural patterns are complex, far more advanced than a pet." Another scanned him and muttered, "He might have adaptive biocoding, similar to the Taiori mimic bots." Ellie didn't care what he was built for. To her, Miku was a living soul, full of warmth and trust. He followed her wherever she went, hopping behind her with soft steps. When she worked in the medbay, he sat quietly and watched her tools with interest. One night, there was a power failure. The lights flickered, systems shut down, and a spark ignited in the wall panel. Ellie rushed to control the flames, but Miku moved faster. He jumped up, placed his small hand on the wall, and within seconds, the panel cooled and the lights returned. Ellie stared at him in shock. "You just fixed the circuit," she said, her voice filled with wonder. Miku chirped once, then curled up beside her on the floor, like nothing had happened. That event changed everything. The base director called her into his office the next day. "We reviewed your report, and what we saw from the footage," he said. "This creature isn't just a stray." Ellie stayed silent, unsure of what he meant. He leaned forward, voice firm. "Miku might be a bioengineered asset, a product of Varnari tech, possibly a weapon or a prototype." Ellie's chest tightened. "He's not a weapon," she said. "He's a person. He's property," the director said. "And the Varnari may want him back." Ellie stormed out of the office. She returned to the medbay and found Miku playing with her stethoscope. He looked up, ears twitching, sensing something was wrong. She sat beside him and whispered, "They want to take you away." He placed a hand on her chest, right over her heart. She could feel his warmth, steady and gentle. "No," she said. "I won't let them." Later that week, smugglers attacked the outpost. A small group of black market raiders looking to steal data and rare resources. Gunshots rang out, and chaos filled the halls. Ellie was trapped in the corridor near the energy lab, with Miku hiding behind her. A smuggler rounded the corner, weapon raised. He shouted, "Step aside." Ellie held her ground, arms spread. And then, without warning, Miku leaped forward. A blue light pulsed from his body, forming a short burst of energy that pushed the attacker back. The smuggler dropped his weapon and ran. Miku collapsed, breathing hard but alive. Ellie picked him up and held him tight. "You saved me," she whispered, tears in her eyes. "You really saved me." After the attack, everything changed again. People no longer saw Miku as a pet or a threat. They saw him as something more. Smart, brave, and loyal. Ellie wrote a full report to Earth Command. She wrote not about his strange powers, but about his kindness. She ended the report with one line, "He is not just something we saved. He saved us too." The one they abandoned. Weeks passed, and Miku's presence at the outpost became normal. He helped with repairs, comforted sick children, and even played gentle music, using Ellie's old datapad. The soldiers smiled when he passed. The med team left small toys for him. He wasn't just accepted, he was loved. But peace didn't last long. A message arrived from Varnari High Command. It was cold and official, full of threats hidden inside polite words. They claimed Miku was classified bioproperty, and demanded his return. The director called Ellie into the meeting room. "We're being watched," he said. "If we refuse to hand him over, they could break alliance laws." Ellie clenched her fists. "They left him in a crate to die. He's evidence," the director replied. "But we have orders." Later, that night, Ellie sat with Miku under the stars near the edge of the outpost. He leaned against her, soft eyes glowing in the dark. She held him close, whispering, "I don't care what they say. You belong here." But the order was clear. Miku would be sent off-world in the morning to a holding ship until a final decision was made. Ellie couldn't let that happen. She packed food, power cells, and placed Miku into a travel pod. "I'm sending you to Luna Colony," she said with a trembling voice. "They'll protect you there." Miku chirped sadly, refusing to go. Holding her sleeve, "You have to go," she whispered. "Please trust me." The pod closed slowly, and Miku watched her through the glass as it launched quietly into the sky. Ellie turned away, tears running down her cheeks. The next morning, when Varnari envoys landed, they were greeted with silence. "No subject present," the officer reported, but Ellie's heart sank when she saw something behind the guards. Miku, hiding in the shadows, had returned. He stepped into the open, eyes calm and steady. One of the Varnari soldiers raised a scanner. "That unit is incomplete," he said. "Defective." Miku said nothing. The Varnari officer turned to the Earth officials. "This being is a creation of the Varnari Empire, and it must be returned for disassembly." Miku stepped forward and placed his hand on his own chest. Then he pointed to Ellie, then to the humans around him, and then, in a quiet but clear voice, he said his first word, home. Gasps echoed around the outpost. The Varnari stepped back in shock. He spoke, someone whispered. He chose, Ellie. Knelt beside him, her voice shaking. You don't have to go with them. Miku, he looked up at her, then back at the soldiers, and shook his head. Earth Command reviewed the event and made a ruling. Miku was not a weapon, not a tool, not property. He was alive, self-aware, and had chosen where he belonged. The Varnari were denied. Shamed by their own cruelty, they left quietly. Their request rejected in front of the galaxy. Ellie lifted Miku into her arms as the crowd cheered. You did it, she whispered. You showed them all. In the months that followed, Miku became a symbol, not of war or science, but of compassion. Schools told his story. Children wore bracelets with his name. He still slept beside Ellie's desk, curled up in a blanket, still fixed broken wires, and chirped softly when the base lights flickered. But now, everyone knew who he was. Not a test, not a mistake, just a little soul that only needed someone to care. Everyone else had left him to die. But the humans didn't, and because of that, Miku lived, learned, and smiled. The end.